welcome to another episode of Hallmarked. I'm Kristen.
I am Aya.
And we have decided to choose our own adventure with Choose Love on Netflix this week. Mm-hmm. What a wild ride that was.
I don't even know. I still and we watched it a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm still processing what we watched.
Yes.
No.
I
don't know.
For those of you who haven't ever actually known that there was an interactive movie on Netflix, I didn't know that there was.
I didn't know.
There is. It's called Choose Love. Head to Netflix. You get to pick things throughout the movie. Well, this has happened before on Netflix with
Kimmy Schmidt,
and there was
there
something
another one?
else. Maybe Kimmy Schmidt's the only one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of Headspace. Yes, and you get to go through the pathways that Cami, our lead character, could potentially pick. But before we get any further, I know that this is a choose your own adventure, but it has a storyline.
It has a storyline. So IMDb says Cami has it all. The perfect job and boyfriend, but she feels that something is missing, and that feeling begins to grow when she meets Rex, and an old love returns into her life. So yes, basically she's got a great job, and she goes to a psychic, and the psychic's like, oh, you're gonna have 3 loves, basically 3 suitors, and that's who we see throughout the movie. So she's with her perfect boyfriend, he's great, and they've been together for a few years, they don't live together, it's fine. And then one day she bumps into a boyfriend she had when she was 17 or
her first love.
And then she's like, oh, I feel connected to you. And then she meets a rock star in her job because she's a sound engineer, and she vibes with him. And then basically, because she meets these 2 other guys, she's somehow confused as to why she's with her partner who's ready to propose.
Is perfect.
Yeah. So then, when you choose different options, it's hard to explain the plot because
yes,
one option is you go with a guy who has an art show, and one guy is going to Vegas to record music, and he wants her to go, and then you have the option of being with your current boyfriend who's ready to propose.
So really the way that the movie ends is up to you. We watched this with our friend Liz from Ghost of Boyfriends Past. You'll see that on our socials when we pop up our little watch along videos. We decided the first time we'll just do what we want to do, majority rules in terms of what options.
And it's timed. You don't have much time to choose. You've got you've got 2 options on the screen. Go with him, or go to the art show, or stay at home, or something. And the countdown is on. So you're shit, I've got to choose.
And then at the end of the movie, it gives you the option to go back to a certain point. Kind of the pivotal moment where things can start breaking off into certain directions.
Yes.
So we'll talk probably first about the first way we went through it, and then some of the other options.
How are we doing
really
this?
difficult. So Cami is our lead. She is a sound engineer. She is currently recording a lot of ads, commercials for radio, that kind of stuff. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to produce music. She wants to write her own songs, sing, and produce her own music. That's the ultimate goal.
But she has stage fright.
As per usual, with most of Laura Morano's characters, actually. There's a through line, like there was with Colin Egglesfield last week.
Yes.
There is a through line.
That's so true.
With Laura Morano.
Yeah.
Paul, I think it's Paul.
Is the good boyfriend.
It's the good boyfriend. Yeah. He's played by Scott Michael Foster, who you may have seen in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Then you have Rex Gallia, who is the pop star.
The Harry
Styles. And he was in Victorious.
Yes, he was.
And then
Avon...
I'm not going to say that right. Sorry, Avon. It's going to stay as Avon.
Yeah.
And then Jack Menor, who is the love of her childhood life, who's played by Geordie Webber. And I don't know if
he looked familiar.
He has very pretty eyes. He's in Power Rangers.
Millennial Jenny. That's a...
Oh, he's Australian. He's from Home and Away.
Oh, okay. Oh, do you know what? Before even looking at it, I was like, I bet you he's Australian.
He does have the Australian look. He
Yeah.
has the I've surfed my entire life
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Oh, no, I take it back. He's from New Zealand, sorry. I
well-
apologise, Geordie. Same deal, though.
He's Maori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same deal. That, like, I've lived in a...
Mistletoe Ranch,
Oh.
Jaggy Productions.
Look, we are... Look at that. There are so many from the Jaggy production house that we are going to be watching. And I did see one in cinemas last week or the week before, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So I can't wait. But that is not what we're talking about
we're
today.
talking about Choose Love on Netflix.
So, Paul is the kind of boyfriend that communicates.
Yep, he's lovely. Very
He's
thoughtful.
lovely, very thoughtful.
So thoughtful.
They're at a games night with her sister and her brother-in-law, and they come back, and he's like, "There's a present. There's a package in her letterbox," and she takes it out. She's like, "I didn't order anything." He's like, "Oh, they arrived on time," and she's like, "What are they?" And he's like, "Well, you change all the batteries in your smoke alarm tomorrow, so I ordered you batteries to make sure that they had been delivered the day before." Because I know that you've just been so busy and I wanted you to have enough batteries.
So nice.
Oh my goodness, so nice. I'm like, why are you guys not living together?
Yeah, they're not living together. He says goodbye for the night.
She won't let him in. He's like, maybe just a little bit of time. And she's like, no, I'm tired. I have a busy day tomorrow. Like, she honestly is a walking red flag.
She is a terrible person in this.
Yeah.
And it's so... Why? I just don't get Hallmark... Netflix, why do they continue to write women as these terrible people? Oh.
It's very upsetting. And it's very upsetting that Paul's like, not like, hey, you take advantage of me and I don't want to be with you.
No. Because he's rose-coloured glasses.
Yeah.
Rose-coloured glasses.
Everything's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's taking her niece to school when she runs into Jack Menor, who is now teaching at the school, but he's a photographer. He's done the like nomad lifestyle.
And that's what they were talking about when they were like 16 or 17. That was like their connection back then, a long time ago. Yeah.
Of running away. And so he comes back and he's sun-kissed and looking good. Except for the weird necklace around his neck. That's like a wooden totem of some sort. And I think she just goes into this kind of what if scenario.
Yes. Yeah.
What if things had been different? What if I'd ended up with this free-spirited, ready to just like take on the world kind of guy where Paul... she seems to feel like Paul is too stable.
Too stable, too safe. Like, I feel like she even has a conversation with him at some point before, like there's an escape room scene, like literally about this stuff where but like she's never spoken before about the desire to be more adventurous or anything like that. She seems very happy in her relationship. Literally, she sees this guy who she dated when she was a teenager and she's like, oh my God, like, maybe that's what I need. Where there was no doubting of anything before she saw him.
And this is where our first choice came. He asks her to lunch. We had to choose whether she goes to lunch or she doesn't go to lunch. We chose to go to lunch.
Absolutely. Because if we're going to make her a walking red flag, let's go all the way.
Let's go all the way. And like, also, we weren't to know that she wasn't going to tell Paul that she was going to lunch.
That's true. We thought she would go and she'd be like, oh, by the way.
Hey, guess what? I just ran into my high school friend. I'm going to go to lunch with him. Just letting you know, all above board. No.
Nope, goes to lunch.
No. Mm-mm. She lets him kiss her on the cheek. All of this stuff.
And then when they're at lunch, she's like, her leg is crossed like
all
over
turned
towards him, and he's got because they're sitting on a park bench, his arm is like over the park bench where she's sitting. It's like, this is not friendly. No. This is more like sexual tensiony. This is not okay, and you haven't told your boyfriend.
And she gets to a point where does she tell him at this moment that she has a partner? Yes, that was another option.
No, that was a choice.
Option. Yeah.
So you can either make her an absolutely terrible person by saying, no, we're not going to tell, what's his name? Jack, that she has a boyfriend, but we chose
to tell. because that is what you should do.
That's what you should do. Because he
Now-
was under the impression that she was single.
Yes. In between lunch and in between running into Jack and lunch, we go to her workplace
Yes.
and we meet Rex.
Yes.
Who is this, like, Harry Styles
British.
meets Austin Powers.
Yeah, it was like terrible British accent. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
like,
all right, darling.
Mick Jagger. Like, just, yeah, Austin Powers. Absolutely that. But Harry Styles, in terms of the fashion sense, like the nail polish.
Yes.
Just like the kind of like mysterious vibes where he's so lovely and polite, which is obviously what everyone loves about Harry Styles as well. Yeah, that was definitely the inspo.
Yeah, so
Mixed with Austin Powers.
she desperately wants to produce Rex's album, but they've got a sound engineer on it already, and he's like, look, and she's like, but that's not your best. I'm your best. Why am I not on this? And he's like, because our best client is the one that's paying the most money, and that's these ads, and so I need my best on my best work. And that's fair. That's a fair thing.
Yeah.
If she hasn't sat down and been like, hey, these are my career goals, boss man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how that's going to work in with the current plan. It shouldn't be a surprise that he's like, why do you want to produce music all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So then she runs into Rex. She needs a cup of tea after like 5 seconds of work. So she goes into the kitchen. Rex is there. He's trying to use like an espresso machine and is not
Doesn't know how to.
So she teaches him how to use the coffee, and they flirt like crazy. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have a bit of banter when you're in a relationship, but like, it's like a switch has been freaking flipped for when she met Jack, and now she's just like trying to get her buzz from any boy who will listen.
Yeah. She like, at this point, she is single in her mind. She
Yeah.
does not have a boyfriend.
No. So we have that interaction. She goes to lunch. We've chosen to tell Jack that she has a partner. She goes back to the office. She has given him her honest feedback on Rex's last album and the way that it was produced at the meeting in the kitchen. And after she comes back from lunch, Rex is like, hey, you're the first person to tell me that this kind of sounds like crap. Do you want to work on my album as my sound engineer? I haven't heard any of your work, but you have an opinion, so that matters.
Yeah. You have an opinion that's so different to anyone else who has heard this. Like, no one else has made a comment, but because you have, you're clearly right. So I'm going to give you the job. Yeah.
Then we get our next option. He goes in to kind of like be like, ooh, give me a number. Let's do a thing. And we have to choose whether to keep it personal or professional.
I think we chose professional.
We chose to keep it professional because we are appalled at how she acted with Jack.
I actually would like to go back and watch and be like, what would happen if I chose personal?
I think we would have gotten a number. You know what? This is the beauty of this movie, is that we can watch it so many times
and get a different...
Yeah, and have a different movie.
There are scenes we still haven't seen.
Yeah. She goes home. It's her anniversary with Paul. Paul
and he's booked a dinner.
Has booked this dinner at a restaurant that you cannot get a reservation. He's like, maybe we can have dinner at this place. And she's like, good luck getting a reservation. He's like, I did. And she was like, what? I've always wanted to eat there. And he's like, I know. Oh. This is why Paul is perfect.
Yeah, he's so nice.
She gets home. She has 3 options. Go to dinner with Paul. Go to Jack's photography exhibition.
Yes.
Or hang out with Rex.
Yeah. And but hang out with Rex in a professional setting.
In a professional setting, they're going to record. We don't get the choice. She calls Paul and is like, I'm sick. I can't go. So we have to decide between photo exhibit or hanging out with Rex. And we were like, we've already chosen to keep it professional.
Yeah.
So,
but also I was rooting for Rex a lot in this because I like a man with a British accent. So I was like, go with the British man. And I love his accent was terrible, but I'm like, if you're going to be like Harry Styles, I'm going for Harry Styles.
Yeah, that's true. Who isn't going for Harry Styles?
Exactly.
I was going for Paul.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because he's perfect.
Yeah. He's fine. no, he's good. But like, if we're going to like, I don't know, if we're going to do something interesting, we're going to go with the sexy British man.
We are. Now, that's what we went for.
Yep.
The sexy British man. He comes to her house.
And like, how?
So she's cancelled on her boyfriend. He turns up to the house. They start recording backing vocals because not only can she produce his album, now she can sing. And she's making up harmonies, and he's like, yes, amazing. Oh, beautiful. Most of the time, I question these harmonies are even harmonies. I feel like she's just singing in the same thing in a different octave.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And then she does sing harmonies, and I'm like, cool. That's something.
He's behaving like she's Adele. Like she's this phenomenal singer who's just been... She's average at best.
Yeah. And he probably could have Adele. But he's got a dull
little girl.
Things are getting kind of flirty.
Yep.
Gets a bit spicy. No, nothing happens.
No.
But she definitely wants it to.
Absolutely.
And this is where more red flags happen. And I guess, like, what you're probably going to see when we start putting up the watch-along videos is how angry we get.
Oh my God, we got so passionate about this. Because are we at the part where he invites her to...
Yes.
Where? Las Vegas or San Francisco? San Diego?
Los Angeles?
No, I think they're in LA, and then he invites her to like San Diego or San Francisco or something to record. Yeah,
and we have to. That's another choice where we're like, no, you're not going.
Yeah, we chose no. We're like, girl, you've got a boyfriend.
Not at any point has she brought up Paul. Not at any point has she felt bad that she has bailed on the dinner that he has made a reservation for, probably months, if not years in advance, if it has been this hard to get into.
Yeah.
So we say no, and like honestly, I was like could have ended the movie there. I was getting so mad at her.
Yeah.
I think she's truly the worst, and she stays the worst. Now, I got a message from Liz, who couldn't join us for the record, being like, hey, guess what? I also went back. I've watched it again.
She was really invested. She was so invested in all the different choices.
And I'm glad, because otherwise we would never have known. So our option before, go to the photo exhibit or record with Rex. Liz decides, I'm going to choose. What happens if we go to the exhibit? What happens if we go? She goes and kisses Jack. Kisses Jack and then doesn't say anything to Paul.
So kisses Jack on her anniversary, basically.
Cami is the worst. I will never agree with anybody that says she's not.
Yeah. Oh, if you watch this and go, oh, but she's just had trouble making choices. No, she was a terrible...
Yeah.
So slap her in the face.
She's on the phone with her sister-in-law. I think this is what comes next. Again, I'm
the
not
sister
going
is
off any
also
notes.
like terrible.
Yes.
Terrible advice.
Her sister tells her that Paul is planning on proposing.
Yes.
Plans on it. As a couple, Cami and Paul are into puzzles, games, board games, escape rooms, all that kind of stuff. So they're about to go to an escape room as a group. Sister, brother-in-law, Paul, Cami. Cami finds an engagement ring and has the most like freak out mode reaction and just like hides it somewhere else. And Paul goes, oh, did you find something? Was it a clue? And she's like, no. And he looks and he's like, it's an engagement ring. Did you think that this was an engagement ring from me? And she was like, oh yeah, kind of. And he's like, and your reaction was to hide it.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of telling. And so they have this like this thing. The escape room door is apparently actually locked, which in Australia isn't allowed.
Yeah.
They can't actually lock you in a room. That's somewhat illegal. So I don't know what it's like in the States. Let us know if you are actually locked in a room, because that's one, terrifying. And 2, I could never. That would be my claustrophobia out the window. I'd be like, I need to get out.
The fact that you have to
immediately.
pee knocked like a lot.
Yeah.
Just to be like, hello, let me out.
Let me out.
But they break up in the escape room.
They break up. They go on a break. I think the options for us then is to like come clean about Jack and about Rex. I think we chose to come clean. We did generally from this point on choose...
We were morally great.
Yes, because Cami was not.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what we chose. Even if we chose the best option, she was going to make it bad.
Yeah.
And so I think we just decided without saying anything that we were just going to make all the best decisions from that point on.
Yeah, that's true. We played with fire a little bit and then we went, wow. You are on fire. You are burning a building down. Nah.
No. So
Is it? Oh my god.
we're up to the dream
Oh
sequence.
my God.
Do you want to talk about the dream sequence, mate?
Oh my god. The dream sequence is possibly the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Truly.
She has a dream sequence where all three come and like talk to her in her dream. But then when it gets to Rex, she puts the sheet over her head.
Yes.
He's lying flat under the sheet and all the sheets start moving and it's just very bad.
They're also not, like, he's not under the sheet next to her. He's, like, under the sheet at the base of the bed. So it's, like, incredibly suggestive.
Yes.
While also, like, the sheets are flowing in and out. Every time the sheet kind of, like, hits the bed and comes back up, it's a new guy. So essentially the dream is that she has to choose.
Yes. And then we do get the choice. But that moment, oh my god, we'll put the reaction video up on because that's all I can remember from when we watched it is how much we laughed because it was so cringe. It was terrible. How embarrassing for those actors.
Yeah.
Imagine they're like, all right, so guys, we're going to get you under a sheet and the transition is just going to be a sheet going up and down. Like that, it's terrible.
And you have to look super sexy.
And you have to look sexy.
We chose Paul because obviously Paul is the best option.
Yeah.
Even though Rex is maybe the most fun option.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jack, time passed. Like,
yeah, you've had your moment.
You literally haven't thought about each other. Let's not lie.
Yes.
You haven't thought about each other since you've graduated high school.
Absolutely not.
So we chose Paul. And they live happily ever after. Essentially.
But then it tells you basically, because it kind of cuts the movie quite short, he proposes, and then an option says, go back to the dream, or it's either go back to the dream or go back to a...
Go back to the dream was like the most.
Often like that's the kind of point where you can go back a bit earlier from memory, I can't remember, but the dream is we had to go back to the dream each time and choose
the other guy.
So then we chose Rex.
Yeah, we chose Rex, which we're assuming that had we picked San Francisco earlier on, then we get these scenes that we probably would have gotten earlier in the movie. So they fly.
So do you reckon we wouldn't have gotten the dream then if we had chosen San Francisco?
I think we still would have gotten the dream. I just think that like maybe we would have gotten the dream and they would have gone to San Francisco. Like, you know, like the plan was always to go to San Francisco, so that probably wouldn't have been an option.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But we don't know. We're going to go rewatch it 700 more times to find all the options. We're on a flight. One of the band members goes down, so they can't record. So they get detoured to Vegas to play at a birthday party. They get out of the limo and Jack's there protesting. And you have a choice. Do you stay with Jack and protest about
something,
child rights in a third world country, or do you go to the party? We chose to go. We're on the Rex train.
Yeah, we're like, F you, Jack. Honestly.
We're on the Rex train. Let's stay on the Rex train. And before she goes on this trip, she goes back to Paul and is like, hey, we're taking a break. I'm going to actually use the break. This is what I'm going to do. And
she was honest with him.
Great. I support this. If this is what you want, go for it. But, like, the break has to be a break. I am... like, I'm gunning for you, but like, I'm not gonna sit here and wait for you.
No.
And I'm like, yes, Paul.
Good guy. You tolerate absolute crap.
Anyway, she ends up singing with him, all of this stuff. They live happily ever after.
Yeah, don't they end up in like Paris or something?
Yeah.
It's like their end moment and they're like, oh my god, she's a terrible kisser. She has weird sheet dreams. She has no moral compass, and she's a terrible kisser and a terrible fashion sense.
And can't sing.
She is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so then...
just- Yeah.
Sorry. And then you go back to the dream.
You go back to the dream.
No, we didn't. We went back to the moment where she's in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, we went back and
we had to choose...
protest or what? So we chose protest.
We had to choose Jack, because otherwise we just would have been going around in a circle.
Yes. So we went back to the protest. We chose the protest. But then Paul comes back and calls and is like, hey, I said I wanted to have a break, but I can't live without you. And so then we had another choice to make. Stay with Jack, go with Paul.
Yeah.
I think we chose to stay with Jack because we were like, let's ride the Jack train to the end. Then we'll make our other choices later.
And then don't they just kiss?
Yeah, then that's it. The end. Nothing really happens in that storyline. We got a lot of Rex. Like, Rex's moment probably lasted another, 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Paul's was 5 minutes.
Yes.
And Jack was kind of in between. And then once we had picked all three, we had a little celebration. A little dance party
and
of
an altar.
You've given me happy ending for all three of my suitors.
It's not that kind of movie. You might as well be at this point.
Oh, truly. Yeah. And so then we can go back. We went back to moments to see if things would change.
Yeah. So, I think we went back to the dream again and chose Jack.
And it took us back to the protest, and then Rex comes in as I'm singing here. Do you want to sing with me? We say no. We rode that train for a little while. And then we went back and we were like, you know what? No. Paul deserves to win. So he turns up in this. When you pick Jack from the beginning, he turns up to the protest.
Yes, he does.
And is like, I can't live without you. Please marry me. And so it's like, do you stay with Jack? Do you go with Paul? We were like, Paul. So then happily ever after. But then again, so many more options that
you
we
can
didn't
go.
choose.
And then thing that made me laugh when she goes with Jack, they drive to Vegas.
Yes.
And they stop, and he wants to take a photo of
Yeah.
her. And then you literally, your options are do silly, goofy photos or do something sexy.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, go
Sexy.
And we swore, go sexy, do it. And it was not good.
No, it was really awkward.
It was so awkward.
So it's a fun time, and I would absolutely recommend watching this with friends, because I think watching it on my own would have been so boring.
Yeah, no, you have to watch it with friends, particularly if you want to debate which option you should go, and then if you go back and choose again, and then it's just fun to. It would have been just get a whole group of people.
Yeah,
even with 3 people, it was good. But can you imagine if we had more and everyone was so divided?
Because I was very much on the Paul train, whereas Liz and A were very much on the Rex train.
I was on Rex, absolutely. Rex Airlines, we were on there. Is there such thing as a Rex Airlines?
Yeah, here in Australia.
Oh, that's good. That worked.
They do the regional
okay. Yeah.
flights.
Yeah, I was on the Rex journey for sure.
And so, grab a group of people. Honestly, is it the greatest rom-com you've ever watched? Not at all.
Absolutely not.
Will you get incredibly frustrated at her being a terrible person if you're single? Absolutely.
The fact, and as someone who's single, the fact that she had 3 guys chasing after her, I'm what is so special about it? She can't dress. She looks like a mix of Velma and Daphne from Scooby-Doo at all times. She can't kiss. She's just a liar, but they're also attracted to her.
Yeah. It's wild.
It is crazy. And the fact that, obviously we've made it so that she ends up with Paul. Paul is an absolute saint for having to stick with that.
Yeah, and he's so nice that it got to a point where I was like, surely he's about to be a dick. There's probably something that's going to happen, and his true colors. No, he's a saint throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
He communicates well. He attends to her needs before she even knows that they're needs. He is patient.
He's so understanding.
And he's attractive.
He's
what the heck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was wild.
It was wild. I think that I can find 3 things. I didn't write any notes on this movie. That's up first. But I think the 3 things that I probably liked most about it is that it is an experience that you can have as a social experience, and that was really fun.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because although we watch movies all the time and we yell at the TV constantly, there's a buy-in to it when you can choose the path that you're going with. I love Paul. I think Paul is one of the greatest rom-com characters we've ever had.
Yeah.
Mainly because I think he shows some traits, some male traits that we often don't, or no, what am I trying? Softer traits that we often don't see in male identifying characters, which is really nice. And I also like,
Oh no, what? No,
I
what?
really liked how much junk food was on her boss's table at all times. Like, we'd walk into his office and there'd be M&Ms. We'd walk into his office, there's a plate of donuts.
Yeah.
We'd walk in, like, and nothing's ever said about why.
Yeah.
It just is a thing.
It's just like someone went, you know what we need in this set to make it more realistic? M&Ms.
Food. Junk
food.
And, like, that is how I live. I, like, live off sugar. So, like,
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I did only write one thing that I liked. I hated this movie. Like, this is at the same level as Love Strikes Twice for me.
Really?
Absolutely. I liked now that you've said it, and now, like, thinking about it after, like, talking about it for the last however many minutes, the kind of social element with friends, I think that's the most enjoyable thing.
Yes.
Not the actual content.
No.
It's the social kind of element. So if you're having a party, I would 100% recommend watching this.
Yeah.
So I did actually really like that. And yeah, it's nice to kind of know that you have a good moral compass yourself when you're making these choices. So we're technically just really good people after watching this. Like, we're really good.
Yeah. And humble.
Yes. And then, yeah, Paul was great. Paul was really good. And then I'm sorry, I'm going to say it because I love Harry Styles, but Rex, I just would have chosen Rex. I would have been like, bye, Paul. Maybe not so quickly like that, but yeah, I would have chosen Rex. So I liked that there was that kind of character in there.
Yeah.
So I guess that were kind of three things.
It's three things. It is. It's a really good... I think the thing is that, like, within that 20 seconds you're given to make a choice, there was definitely times where we're like, this one, no, this one, no,
Yeah.
why are we picking that one? Like,
Yeah, for sure. But I think once you take... Okay, so, like, I maybe would have given this a higher rating if I considered the interactive social element. And I think that's really all it's got going for it.
Yeah, because the lead character is truly deplorable.
Yeah, but when I've rated this basically on what we were given content-wise. And I gave it a 4.
Okay.
Because it was abysmal. She's a terrible person. I did not like her. Even when we tried to make her a good person, she wasn't. No. It was just, and I just didn't like a lot of the ending scenarios and then being told, like, no, you have to go back and choose again. It's like, I don't want to choose again. This is the ending I want for her.
Yeah.
But they told you, sorry. At one point, when we chose Paul first up, they're like, sorry, no.
Yeah, go back.
Go back. You're going to actually have to do something else. I didn't like
This
that.
was too easy.
This was too easy. You chose the best option. We need you to choose the worst option next.
Because we want you to see all the scenes that we filmed.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 5 because of the same reason. I truly despised her as a person. And it was, I wanted to pick Paul for Paul's sake because I think he deserved his version of happiness. Why that is her, I will never know. But I didn't want her to get a happy ending.
No, it was not, like, that's the thing. You wanted to choose Paul, but not with her. You didn't want her involved in any way. You just wanted him to be happy.
Yeah, and so I agree. I think the social element of it is really fun. What did I say? 4.5. 4.5 out of 10 as an average. There we go. I think the social element of it makes it really fun. And had we just voted or made a rating on the interactiveness of it, it's probably like an 8.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the adrenaline rush that came with the choices wasn't anything to do with the storyline.
Yeah.
It was about picking in the moment. But yeah, she's awful. Jack is kind of selfish. Rex is very nice, and he's like, hey, I will respect the boundary, but you're kind of giving me mixed messages
Yeah.
here.
Do you know what would have been nicer is if she wasn't in a long-term relationship. Like, if she was literally choosing love because maybe, like,
She met all of them at the same time.
Yeah, or, like, she still maybe knew Jack or whatever his name is from school.
Yeah.
And, met them all at the same time, but she had a connection with all of them, but they were all still so different as people. Like, that would have been
Much better.
But instead she just came across as a person who was so ungrateful for being in the relationship or having the man that she had, and just like a cheater. She's a cheater.
And I think that's the thing, is that, like, crushes are very normal in long-term relationships, but she followed through on every single feeling.
And sometimes without us prompting her to. Like, she was written to be terrible.
Yeah.
And no matter what you did, she was always going to be terrible. So that's why the rating's so bad, because when you just look at the story, forget everything else.
Yeah.
It's just...
And that is the consensus. All three of us had the same consensus. Cami is the worst.
Yeah.
And why would we be siding with a red flag? That's not what we want.
She didn't deserve any of them, to be honest. She didn't deserve to be happy.
She needs to just have a moment to be single, figure out what she wants, focus on her career, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, yes.
Yeah. It's so hard. Like, I feel like we've, like, rated it. It's a low rating, but I would highly recommend people to watch it.
Yes. I think don't be surprised if you feel like the plot is lackluster, but it is a fun experience. And I think that the fact that we can do that with entertainment now is really exciting.
Yeah.
Kimmy Schmidt was the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun. It's fun, and it's fun. As kids, I love choose your own adventure books, you know, so it's nice to be able to have that in a different style of entertainment.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, we sat through it, we did it. Will I go back and see what the other options are like? Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of quite happy to never watch it again. You know, like, it's one of those movies.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it would be interesting to go back. I probably wouldn't maybe watch it again, but, like, I wouldn't do that by myself. But I'm also, like, happy. I feel like we saw a lot.
Yes.
And now we heard one bit that we didn't see, the art showcase or photography showcase, whatever it was. So I feel like I'm good. Like, we saw most of what we needed to see.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's the same kind of any scenario. It's the same. She's terrible.
She's terrible.
There's no scenario in this entire movie where she's good.
No. She is incredible. I think as a character trait, she is incredibly selfish, and that it never changes. There's no character growth for her. There's no moment of realization. There's no turning point moment. Nothing. She stays exactly how she is through the whole movie. Yeah. Oh, well. We did it. We watched it. Now we can get to Christmas.
Yay.
Because it is the season.
'Tis the season to be jolly.
Hallmarked.
Oh, hallmarked. Yeah, 'tis the season to be hallmarked. Oh my god, we should trademark that.
I'm going to put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're going to watch
No,
first.
we haven't decided yet. Like, yeah.
Things are being added to Prime, Stan, Netflix, binge.
I definitely,
every week.
Yeah, definitely will do, like, a bit of, like, the Stan and Prime, like, actual Hallmark movies. But I feel like we need to watch one of the Netflix ones.
Oh, yes. Just one. Maybe
Just
a couple.
one. I don't think we need to watch all of them this year.
No.
But yeah, just one would be good.
One. You know, come along for the Christmas ride.
Yeah.
If there is a particular Hallmark Christmas movie that we haven't already covered that you would like us to cover, let us know on our socials, either Instagram or TikTok at HallmarkedPod. You can send us an email at hallmarkedpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
If you know us personally, you can
text us.
Text us or, like, run into us on the street and be like, sup, what about this one?
Yeah.
And if you don't know us, that's okay.
That's okay.
You have other ways to communicate.
We're on private on Instagram, so you'll continue to not know us, but you can follow us in Hallmarks Pod.
Apparently it's an exclusive club now. We will let you know what we're watching, so that if you would like to watch along with us, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, we'll pop up a little summary video if you don't have the time and you just want to know what's what before we jump into it.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's kind of it.
Yep.
We'll see you later.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.